Hi everyone. TSA Test Prep presents Prepare for the TSA CBT Test. Today, we're going to cover everything from the TSA Officer hiring process to what happens if you fail the TSA CBT test. Let's get started. Becoming a TSA Officer. Let's go through the steps for the TSA Officer hiring process. First, we have the TSA Computer Based Test, the CBT test. Then we have a vision exam, followed by a TSA Airport Assessment, which is an interview, a drug screening, medical evaluation, including vision, hearing, and joint mobility exam, and a background check. What is the TSA CBT test? The TSA Computer Based Test, or CBT test, is an evaluation used in the selection process to become a TSA inspector, manager, or transportation security officer. The TSA test evaluates your skills, including object recognition, screener awareness, and the English language. It is important to note that only those who pass the TSA CBT test will continue with the hiring process. What subjects are on the TSA CBT test? There are two components of the TSA CBT. One, the Object Recognition Test, or ORT, also known as the X Ray Test, or Baggage Scanner Training Test. Two, there's also a written skills assessment. What's on the TSA X Ray Test? Let's take a deeper look. First, you'll be shown images of baggage that have gone through the X-ray machine, in which time you will be given only a few seconds to review the baggage and identify target objects. The target items will be forbidden items, such as weapons, bottles with liquid, drugs, or electronics. You will need to decide whether to pass, alarm, or hold the bag due to its contents. If you choose pass, you decide the bag does not contain any harmful items. If you choose alarm, you decide that the bag has a prohibited item, such as a gun or weapon, and you request immediate police intervention. If you choose hold, you decide an item is prohibited and requires intervention by a TSA officer and further screening, such as a physical search or ETD, or explosive trace detection. How do you read the X-ray questions? The first step in identifying target objects in an X-ray scan would be to review the black and white image. As black and white images are quite sharp, it can be easy to identify a harmful item. Let's take a look at a black and white image. Does this image indicate the presence of a target object? Here, you can clearly see multiple guns, and the correct answer would be to set off an alarm. Interpreting color in the X-ray. If the image is not so straightforward, you can use color detection. Color highlights the differences in density of various materials. When an item is denser, it will appear bluer. Less dense items will appear lighter and be on the red scale. Black and blue in an X-ray. Blue usually denotes hard materials, including metal, hard plastics, and alloys. Any wires, batteries, sunglasses, or guns will show up on the blue and black scale. I'll give you a couple of seconds to take a look at the image. Remember, you only have a few seconds for each question. In the top left corner, you can see a switchblade. Notice the dark blue shade, which lets you know it's a metal. Then focus in on the shape. Green represents less dense plastics and alloys. The combination of plastic and metal will most likely be an electronic device. Again, take a few seconds to study the image. In this image, you can see the form of a cylindrical aerosol hairspray can. Get yourself used to identifying shapes and not just colors within the X-ray. Orange in an X-ray means any biological material. This covers natural items and other materials, such as rubber, food, leather, non-plastic explosives, liquids, gels, and organic powders. These colored items often include explosives and narcotics. Now, review this image. Notice anything suspicious? You can see 4 compact orange organic blocks. In this instance, I would hold the baggage. Upon deeper search, you would find 4 blocks of narcotics. Now, red in an X-ray indicates low-density items, where the machine has encountered little to no resistance when scanning the object. These objects could include light materials such as fabric, carton, or paper. Now take a look at this last image. You might be aware that explosives are often partly composed of organic and inorganic compounds, such as glycerin, C4, and TNT. You can see the orange and red patches on the image with what looks like nails. This definitely looks suspicious. You might conclude that this particular bag is probably carrying some kind of bomb. What is on the TSA Writing Skills Assessment? The TSA Writing Skills Assessment tests your understanding of English grammar, word usage, syntax, sentence structure, and paragraph organization. The TSA Writing Skills Assessment covers everything from sentence construction to conjunctions. If you're anything like me, you probably haven't heard the word gerund since high school, so it's probably something you'll want to review. Now let's do some practice questions. Supervisor Jones knows that it is essential for his TSA inspectors to understand each of the fundamental principles that apply to all procedures relating to canine training. Take a moment to pause the video and review the answers. The correct answer is C, principles to principles. These words are homophones, words having the same pronunciation but different meanings. That's why it's very important to take your time and read the questions. Let's try another one. The TSA Officer training program is long, grueling, and fatiguing. Again, take a moment to pause the video and review the answers. The correct answer is C, grueling, fatiguing. This would be categorized as a spelling question. If you're unsure about the correct spelling, try to work your way backwards and look at the answers. If you're confident about the spelling of one of the words, work your way up from there. In this case, I was unsure about grueling, but confident how to spell fatiguing. What should you expect on the test day? The test is usually given at a testing center. Make sure you arrive 30 to 45 minutes early to fill out any extra forms. The test takes a total of 2.5 hours, with the written skills assessment being the longer section. The test is given under time constraints, and the English portion of the test is all multiple choice questions. How is the TSA CBT test scored? Applicants will not be penalized for wrong answers. Scoring is based on correct answers only. It works in your advantage to take educated guesses, so don't leave any answers blank. In the English section, there is an option D, which states no correction is needed, and this is a viable answer. Now, what happens if you pass? If you pass the exam, you'll be placed into one of 3 categories: best qualified, highly qualified, or qualified. Scoring high is extremely important because those candidates placed in the best qualified category have the best chance of getting the position. Now, what happens if you fail? If you fail the exam, you will not be eligible for any job openings for 6 months. And if you fail twice or miss the exam, you will no longer be eligible to take the exam. Now, what happens after the test? You will receive your results within 2 weeks. If you pass, you will be asked to give in the standard authorization form, your credit card information, and the E86 National Security Questionnaire. How can you prepare for the test? Now, there are a couple of things you can do. Firstly, you can review a practice test to familiarize yourself with what to expect. Find your rhythm when it comes to the X-ray. Remember, you only have a couple of seconds to devote to each question. You might find it easy to divide the picture into quadrants when scanning, or scan from left to right. Don't assume that you know what to expect on the written portion because you speak English, as we saw earlier. And try to start the application process early. We hope you found this presentation helpful. To learn more about the TSA CBT test and the TSA hiring process, check out tsatestprep.com. Good luck!